What's going on, guys? Zach Sharps here from T5R alongside Mr. Jordan from Your Raptor. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing very well. It's great to be back with some E3 predictions.
E3 2016, and this time around we are going to be discussing Sony's conference. What are they going to show off? That's the big question, especially with all the little rumblings going on about a new console announcement or an upgraded console announcement, and then a bunch of games. Hopefully greatness will finally arrive at this conference because it's been so long since we've seen just anything show up. Like the biggest exclusive I think that's been on the PS4 is like what, Until Dawn, right?
Bloodborne, I think, is up
Oh
there
yeah,
as well.
Bloodborne.
And
Yeah.
Ratchet and Clank now as well. I mean, that game is fantastic.
I don't count Ratchet and Clank though because it's a remake. I'm talking about sort of like
Mm,
original games.
yeah.
So I think that would just be Bloodborne and Until Dawn. So the case in point, not really a whole lot, and that's certainly worrisome, at least for myself, because I own a PS4. I bought it for exclusives only, basically, because I have a gaming PC that's amazing. So why would I, game on a console other than exclusives? Sony usually does great exclusives, but we just haven't seen them, and so hopefully we'll get some good release dates. We'll see a lot of new IPs possibly announced. But let's go ahead and open up with the fact that the PS Neo will be the opening announcement at E3.
Mm.
It's I
Opening. So
opening.
they'll start from now on. All the games you will see are on PlayStation Neo.
Yeah,
Something like that. Okay.
they'll basically be like, okay, here's a sizzle reel, and then their first announcement will be the PS Neo, and then everything after that will sort of show off the Neo mode of all these games that are upcoming.
Mm. Solid, solid. I think it would be to just put in my first prediction here that I will start with Horizon. And it
Okay.
will look significantly better than we saw last time. And then they say, yeah, you saw the new gameplay of Horizon. It's playable on the show floor, and it was running on, and then PlayStation Neo, and then from then on, I think starting with the game is more Sony-like. They did it as well last year. Um, of course, we saw the Lost Guardian, I think, if I remember
Yep.
correctly, and then Horizon. So they want to grab your attention immediately, and showing Horizon is like one of the most anticipated exclusives for the PlayStation 4 right now. Uncharted will be out by then, so I think that will be like a good, good showing. But I totally think that PlayStation Neo will, if it will be announced, probably it will be at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I mean, it's gonna be at the beginning of the show. It's just a matter, will it be an open with, or will it be like directly after a game? I don't think that they're going to do the Horizon thing, mainly because of the fact I don't want them to. I don't think that they want to jade their audience into thinking, oh well, now I have the peasant version of the PS4. I need to get Neo because obviously everything is gonna look like shit in comparison. I don't think that they want to
Mm,
sort of draw that conclusion with everyone who owns a PS4, which is why I don't think they're going to do a lot of graphical comparisons between the two. I could be
yeah,
wrong though. I just think that that would be a poor sort of PR thing for them, and I don't think
yeah,
that they're going to try and jade their entire
yeah.
consumer base.
Yeah,
But
it will be interesting to watch how they will, show that, and because on the other hand, if you look at other games that are also on PC, you see that version, you see the Division running on
mhm,
PC, the high settings in the trailers, obviously, because they
yeah.
want to sell the game. So why would Sony not do it? It will be super interesting to watch how they will, talk about the Neo
Yeah,
for
certainly,
sure.
certainly. And obviously, we all know now, especially with all the rumors pretty much cemented, that the PS Neo will improve the graphics quality of console games and have a bundle with the PSVR. That second part we don't know yet, but I definitely think that since the Neo pretty much is meant for VR, let's just face it,
Hmm.
VR requires really solid frame rates, and so and just because of the fact that they decided to release the Neo rumors and sort of get them circulating, see how, because I mean, when it comes to these corporations, they don't just sort of have this stuff leaking from their departments and whatnot. It's obviously something, and we've heard a lot in the past, that they sort of have someone leak it out a little bit so they can get a little bit of rumor circulating, see what the response is, and then maybe announce it. I've heard a lot about that from a lot of companies in terms of how they sort of present these announcements, and I think that it makes sense to bundle it with PSVR. I think that the price tag is going to throw some people off though, because it'd be bundled. Like you're looking at $900 to $1,000 for that bundle, because of the fact that the PSVR in general is $400 if I remember correctly, and the
Yeah.
PS Neo, which I'll discuss as one of my bold predictions, is going to be, you can make up the difference. 400, if you just subtract that from 1,000 or 900, you'll sort of see where I'm looking at as far as the
Hmm.
ballpark of that particular console and its price.
Yeah, I think it will be around the 50 for both the console and the VR headset.
That's a bold prediction right there.
Since the PS4 Neo is now rumored for 399, and the VR headset is of course also 399, and if you have a bundle, you
Hmm.
want like yeah a better price than if you buy them separately. So I think they will be around that. I don't think that the PlayStation Neo will be above the $400 because then they will shoot themselves in the foot, I think.
If they actually did that and they decided to release both the PlayStation VR and the Neo for around like 700-ish dollars, like a 350 Neo and then the 400 PSVR,
Hmm.
that would be a complete eruption on the internet. I think a lot of people would be thrilled for that, because the
Yeah.
biggest worry a lot of people have with upgrading consoles and starting that trend is how much is it going to cost. And so for if Sony comes out and basically sets a precedent that it's going to be about the same cost as what original PS4 is right now, that's going to be very, very good for their consumers, and
It
I
will
think
be
it would
even
ease their mind.
it will be even more interesting if they say, hey, if you buy this $700 product, you can play VR right off the bat, while with a Oculus you pay the same amount of dollars, but you have to have a PC. And here it's all working. It runs well, better than on a normal PS4. So I think they really have something there if this is all yeah coming true. But let's go to some other predictions, some games. What do you have?
I have more Horizon gameplay will be shown. You
Mm-hmm.
discussed that a little bit. I think that they're going to show off more of the depth of the game rather than before, where it was sort of like a reveal trailer,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
as far as the gameplay
Set
goes.
the tone. Yeah.
Yeah, it set the tone, but it didn't really show us a lot of depth. It showed us a lot of depth within maybe the boss fights or the standard fights that you'll be encountering. But I want to see some of the customization. I want to see some of the skill upgrades that you can do, and sort of see how big the world is. Because as far as Horizon goes, the opening sort of showstopper gameplay trailer that they showed off was amazing. It looked phenomenal. The whole combat sequence looked really great, but how does it really scale? Like, we obviously saw the boss fight scale, and all that looks amazing, but how big is the world? What's the story like? Is it an in-depth story, or is the game mainly a gameplay focused type title? What is it all about? I just want to get to know Horizon more, and I think that they're going to sort of do that at this upcoming conference.
Yeah, I absolutely think that as well, and I think that it at the end will say 2017.
Possibly. Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, there are some rumors right now that Horizon will be delayed, and obviously it's just not smart. And Sony saw that. I mean, they don't really need an exclusive to have a successful holidays, so they can if they release this game in the same around the same date as they did with the Order, it will have a lot of breathing room because there are just not a lot of other games. So the end of February will be a great time for this game, but I obviously think that they just need more time. So maybe
Hmm.
it will be May or something.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait. So my other announcement would be a new Spider-Man game from Sucker
Hmm.
Punch, and we're hearing some rumors about that. It's not like I just thought of that, but yeah, there are some rumors. There was a guy who put it on his resume. He has been working on a ton of stuff for different trailers, but also in movies. For example, he's in the Rogue One upcoming Star Wars movie,
Hmm.
doing stuff for that. But he also said upcoming Spider-Man PS4 project, and then he took his resume down. It was offline, and then he also had like an Instagram post where he was at Sony, and he just made like a hint towards or yeah, because Spider-Man or Pete Parker obviously always takes pictures of himself and then tries to sell it. Well, he had like a sort of wink towards that. So
Yeah.
it's totally coming. And of course, Sucker Punch is like the superhero developer of Sony. They had infamous Second Son, obviously, at the beginning of the PlayStation 4 life cycle, and they're now working on another big project. Also, some job listings suggest that it might be a superhero game with a known franchise. So I totally see that coming. They might tease that at E3. Obviously, Spider-Man is now in the picture again with the new Captain America film. So yeah, it would totally make sense. And maybe that, yeah, with all the stuff they learned from Infamous Sucker Punch, they could really make a fantastic Spider-Man game. So hopefully we will see that.
And that's the thing. I really hope they finally make a good game. You know, as far as that particular superhero, we've
Mm,
not seen a lot, from that particular hero as far as a really good, capturing of said hero. Where like with Batman, there's obviously the Arkham series, which is
yeah.
very renowned, very solid. As far as it progressed, maybe not so much. I mean, Batman Arkham Asylum was great. And then I can't remember the second one, Arkham City. There we go. Just
Yes.
remembered it. And then Arkham Knight was not as good as those
Origins as
previous
well.
two. Yeah, in Origins. I forgot all about Origins. Probably a good thing. But yeah, it's really just comes down to the fact that I really hope they just do it justice. It really just it sucks to have really terrible superhero games just in general because there's so much potential there. I just wish
Yeah.
they'd finally get around to making a Green Arrow superhero title or even the Flash. Give one of those two heroes love. Like for fuck's sake, both have TV series that are amazing. Give one of them some love,
You're
especially Arrow.
forgetting DC Universe Online.
But DC Universe on that's no, no.
No, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Yeah. But
But
as
still, you
far
can
as
run very, very fast in that game, and that was one of the coolest features I thought.
certainly,
The
certainly.
movement powers.
Yeah, the super speed was really
Yeah.
nice in that game. But my next announcement that I think that they're going to do, or at least what they're going to show off, is some Final Fantasy 7 and 15 gameplay that will actually be shown on the Neo. We saw a lot coming out about Final Fantasy 15 and its terrible frame rate on the PlayStation 4. It was hovering around like 20 to 24 frames per second. It's like you were watching a movie in some cases, at least in the Platinum demo, which is a representation of how the actual game will sort of play in a sense because of the fact that it is running in the same engine. So it's going to be one of those things where we hope that we get to see better performance from the Neo with Final Fantasy 15, maybe some graphical upgrades. Because I'll tell you, as a PC player, I was kind of like, wow, this game is really held back by the PlayStation 4. I want to see higher resolution on the damn ground. Like the
And
textures were just
I mean,
awful.
Final Fantasy is always like a graphical masterpiece. I mean, if you see Final Fantasy 13, what that game did on the last generation of consoles, it was just insane. But I think, yeah, this game has been in development for 10 years now or something like that. An exorbitant, an enormous amount of time. But what you say here, I think, is very interesting, and I hope that this is not the case. I do think that they will just show every game on Neo on in the during the press conference.
Hmm.
But if this is really true, that Final Fantasy 15 will have like a frame rate that drops below the 30s, but on Neo is like, yeah, it just solid what you come to expect. We will have there will be riot. There will be riot for sure. If that's the case, then Sony will have like a big problem. I One big little sidestep here is with the 3DS. We obviously see the new 3DS, so the Neo is not really a new thing in maybe in the console space, but not really in the handheld space. Nintendo did it, and it was like the Hyrule Warriors game on new 3DS. It ran fine, and on the previous 3DS, it ran super bad. So I don't hope to see that on the on this generation hardware, but maybe
I
yeah.
What I think though is that the thing is with that is I think that they'll eventually get the engine to the point where it's more stable on the
Mm,
PlayStation 4, but I think the Neo is going to have a lot of graphical increases because the biggest problem I saw with the Platinum demo is way too much blurring to cover up a lot of the stuff that they had to essentially cover up. Because if you look at the ground, for instance, the ground textures were awful. You look at all the scenery, at least in the opening, it was very it was not that great at all. But you look at sort of what effects that they used in order to sort of make it look a lot better than it actually was, and you're like, well, maybe that's because the PlayStation 4 just couldn't handle all the extra added effects they wanted in the game, and so they had to sort of, jimmy rig some things and sort of pull like an Until Dawn, where it's like super blurry post processing, all over the place, motion blurs and all that to try to make it look like sort of like a cinematic film. I found the demo to be fun. I just hope that the Neo makes it so a lot of those effects are not covering up a lot of the stuff that
Yeah.
they wish that they could have added because of the fact that the PlayStation 4 is underpowered. And I hope that the Neo allows them to actually add those things and turn it into a graphical masterpiece as much as it's going to be a gameplay and story masterpiece. So that's what I hope from it.
Yeah.
But I also think that Cyberpunk 2077 will also be shown and heavily emphasized at
Wait,
Sony
wait,
conference.
wait.
I know, I know, I know.
Wrong conference.
Oh no, 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 no. I think that if they're going to be shown at any of these conferences, I think CG Product's going to choose Sony. Sony's the winners of this console war right now. They're sort of the head honchos, and I think that they want to associate themselves, because before you could have argued, oh, Microsoft could have caught up, right? And you could have been like, okay, well, it's early in the console war, maybe they can do something to catch up,
They
and
can't. They
so,
can't.
and now that they know that they can't, and Sony is like, we're the best right now, and it's not ever going to end with them catching up. Maybe CG Products like, well, if we want to advertise our game, let's advertise it on their brand new shiny Neo, since it's going to look the best and it's going to play the best, at least console wise, because unless Microsoft, which there's rumors now that they would be releasing an upgraded version of the Xbox, you wouldn't really want to show your game running at 600p at 20 frames per second. Sorry, Microsoft fanboys. But it's true. A lot of games on Microsoft's Xbox One run at like 720, 900p. So why would you want to show off your new shiny game on that resolution when you can show it off at, the Sony conference on the Neo running at full 1080p, maybe even 60 frames per second, looking gorgeous, and just be the absolute showstopper that the game is probably going to be. They said it's going to be way more grand than The Witcher 3. If that's the case, we already have our game of the year right here, folks. Like, let's just throw it out there right now.
Of what year? Of what year?
That's the question, right? Because we don't know.
2018,
Yeah, we don't know.
2019.
Yeah, I think realistically, Cyberpunk will release in 2017. I think that we'll hear
Hmm?
that. Because 2017, it sounds right. I don't know. CG Product might be pushing for the end of 2016, and they might
No,
achieve
no,
that.
no, 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 no.
I don't know.
I think they are also working on the DLC. They had like it was lost in the news that they are looking for the Rockstar project method. So they really like that. So 4 years focusing on one game and then release it. So if we look at that, that would mean that obviously they are working a long time now on Cyberpunk, but just with a small team. You would think that with The Witcher 3 production ending, they all moved over to that project. So maybe it's in full production now for 1.5 years, something like that. So they have a long road ahead. They might even, it might be absent from this E3. I would not be surprised.
I don't think so.
Mm.
CG Projekt Red, when The Witcher 3 was announced and whatnot, it wasn't too long before we actually got our hands on it. If I remember correctly, if my memory is correct there. And so I don't think that they would have released and hyped up Cyberpunk knowing that it's going to take a couple to a few years to release. That'd be kind of just like Grand Theft Auto 5, doing the same thing. And for, with that game and how it sort of went out, it was not that long before we saw a reveal trailer and then we saw it actually release, at least on the consoles. PC, it took another year. But it really comes down to the fact that I think CG Projekt Red, they want to ride that hype train and they want to show off some gameplay at E3, running on the Neo, all beautiful and amazing looking, and then drop maybe a hint at the release date, if not sort of give us a release date in the coming months for either a midway through 2017 or a late 2017. But yeah.
Okay. I I'm curious. I hope that it is, but I'm now looking at the Wikipedia page, and it says, as of April 2016, the game is still in early development. But okay, we will see. We will see.
It's Wikipedia though.
Yeah, but they have they have a source. That's no. No, okay, fair enough. Anyway, let's move on. Shall we do? I will just yeah throw some points here. So I think that Shadow of Mordor 2 will be on the stage at the Sony press conference. The first one was also marketed with the PlayStation logo, so the game is coming. I think another actor already leaked the Blur trailer they are going to do. Blur trailer is of course like a very pretty cinematic trailer, so that will be shown. Then we will also see the Sony Band game. Sony Band, you can know them from Uncharted for Vita.
Hmm.
They made that game and some God of War games on the PSP. They were also very pretty good. And Resistance Retribution on PSP as well. Really love that game. Well, they're working on their own game for a change, and rumors are that it will be an open world zombie apocalypse game, but it will be a little darker. I have a tweet from Shinobi, and we already mentioned him with the Horizon delay rumors, but he a year before Horizon was announced, he tweeted out a girl with red hair and dino and crazy dinosaurs and stuff like that. So he totally knows his stuff. Well, he said, "That's savage. We survive. Don't fear them. Um, Ride, don't run. The apocalypse is good fun." And on that, don't ride. That's the name of the game probably. And then hashtag Sony Band. So we will probably see that. A new Destiny expansion will be announced and shown with a new trailer. Will be out in September. PSVR will be spent. Will have a stage, but it will be less than 10 minutes of stage time, not more, because I don't think that a PlayStation VR headset demos really well on a PlayStation press conference. So they will
Hmm.
just say that it comes, maybe announce a new game that will come in 2017, and say that No Man's Sky will come to PlayStation VR. They have to do it. The game will be out in a week after the press conference. So maybe it's not the best timing. Maybe they will do it at their Paris Games Week press conference, or if they will return to Gamescom. But I think that it will be nice that they just show like the last gameplay demo for No Man's Sky, and at the end say, "And we've also been working on something." And then you see someone walking up with a PlayStation VR headset, and then everyone is clapping because yeah, it would be a no-brainer. Why wouldn't they make that game for VR? It would be
Yeah.
super weird. So do you have something else?
Yeah, I also have God of War will be announced. God of War, I think
Yeah.
4, if I remember correctly, will be announced. There's been rumors of it, and I think that they need to have more of their sort of grand IPs show up to the fights that is exclusives and really sort of drop a lot of people's jaws on the ground. So I think that there will be a gameplay trailer for that, not just a short reveal, and that they've been working on it for a while, and
Hmm.
maybe it'll be releasing holiday this year because Sony, as much as I really doubt that that would occur, because Sony's sort of been like, "Eh, we'll release it eventually, greatness awaits, yada yada yada." I think that they might actually try and release some of their sort of grand IPs this year. It needs to happen. Maybe it doesn't though. That's the weird thing about this entire generation. The norms have been thrown out the window. Usually you have to have exclusives to sell your console.
Yeah.
And we've seen with Microsoft, they've been releasing more exclusives than Sony by far, and their
But
console is getting wrecked. And
yeah, doesn't help.
yeah, it doesn't help at all. And it's so we don't really know if that even needs to happen. But it really comes down to the fact I do know that it will be shown. It's just a
Yeah.
matter of how much it will be shown and when we'll actually release. But I
And
think, oh, go ahead.
yeah, it will be like a showcase of what the Neo can do as well. I think
Hmm.
God of War has always been a graphical masterpiece. It's if you look at the God of War 3 like remaster that released last year, it's still like wow.
It's
I mean
gorgeous.
that yeah, and that remaster is also like a way to say okay, they are working on a new game because they are like giving the people that jumped over from Xbox a way to think, oh, Kratos is a cool guy. Oh, and the previous game is on the console as well. Oh, the new one is coming. Oh, cool. So yeah,
Yeah.
it will totally happen. Probably in Valhalla. There's been rumors about that. Yeah, and it will, I think, release in 2017. They don't need to hurry everything, like you said. So
Yeah, they really don't. I hope that they will. As someone who has a PS4 and only owns it for exclusives, I'm gonna reiterate that again. I only own the damn thing for exclusives. I really hope that they do. I've been waiting for stuff that sort of verifies why I purchased a PS4, and I really haven't got a lot. I mean, Ratchet and
yeah,
Clank's awesome. Playing through the Uncharted's again is awesome. Uncharted 4, I think, is going to be great.
yeah,
And
me
I
too.
think that they will show some DLC for that at the conference in some sort
Mm,
of
mm,
form.
mm.
But
Yeah, could be.
I don't really, other than those, there's not really been that much besides remasters. And I already played a lot of those games beforehand. So it's really something that I just hope as a fan, but it's one of those things where I'm like, it probably won't happen. I think you're more realistically correct there. But I
Yeah.
also have that they'll announce at least 2 new IPs that are exclusive to Sony's platforms. And I say platforms because obviously they'll have the PS4 and the Neo and also the PSVR. And I think that it will sort of, one will be sort of a more lighthearted IP. The other one will likely be a little bit more gritty, sort of like a Until Dawn, but not as gritty
Yeah,
as that 'cause that's a
the
horror.
Sony band game probably like the on the your like the zombie apocalypse game. I think that would
Yeah.
totally fit like your prediction. They've been working on a new IP or for PlayStation 4 for a very long time. Yeah, they might also announce it for 2017. So that will be also like a super crowded 2017. Yeah, with exclusives. But yeah, we also thought that of 2016, and if we look back, we have only seen Ratchet and Clank yet, and it's April already. So.
Yeah.
Um, it will be interesting. Also, talking about exclusive, I think The Lost Guardian will finally get a release date, and that's all they will say about it. That's just, okay, guys, it will be out in September. Enjoy. Goodbye. Something like that.
Yeah.
Um, and then my bold prediction, if you're ready to move on.
Yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the bold predictions.
Red Dead Redemption 2, or whatever it will be called, the third Red Dead game, I know there's a Red Dead Revolver as well, will be shown at the Sony press conference.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think that that's really that bold. There's been rumors. I
Yep.
think that it definitely has a good shot, and I can't wait because I love sort of, it's weird because I don't like Western movies, but I loved Call of Horror as Gunslinger. I loved that game so much. And so a Red Dead Redemption 2 would be an instant buy for me, like hands
Cool.
down.
Cool.
So I hope
But I
that's the
wanna,
case.
yeah, I wanna discuss that more in the video you will find on my channel because
Yeah.
yeah, we do the bold predictions there. So I
Yes,
think that will be
certainly.
a fun one.
I got a lot more to say about that, trust me. But yeah, I
Cool, cool,
definitely
cool.
check out his channel if you guys want to see us talk about Red Dead Redemption 2. But my bold prediction is that Uncharted VR will be announced.
What?
Now this is a very weird announcement, right? Just a short little description. I think that it will be somewhat of a showcase type title. It won't be a full-fledged Uncharted. I think it'll be sort of a mini game with an announcement that somehow the Uncharted 4 will have some sort of a VR mode in a sense. They need to sell the PSVR. They just do. They gotta sell it. How are they gonna sell it? Let's throw Uncharted on it, right? Let's throw Uncharted on it.
Uh,
That's how we're gonna
yeah.
sell some more. So that's yeah. It likely won't happen though. But you know, I gotta throw something out there.
It's like Link's crossbow crossbow training. Do you remember that game?
Yes.
Okay, okay, yeah, interesting, yeah. But you know that every VR or Place VR game will be featured in like a theater mode, right? That you can play just every PS4 game with the PlayStation VR, but just sitting in the cinema or something like
Yeah,
that.
but that's no
Yeah, that's
fun.
not the full experience.
That's
I
yeah,
understand.
that's no fun. That doesn't showcase anything at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you have another bold prediction? Because I have one. It's not really that bold because you sort of alluded to it and stated it at one of the beginning points that you made. But
Yeah, yeah, it's about the Neo, right?
yeah,
Or yeah,
I said that the PlayStation Neo would cost $500. I
yeah.
priced it $100 more than what you priced it at. And I think that it'd be about 500 just because of the hardware that's inside. I don't think that they want to take a loss on this particular product because they really don't need to. It's not really a matter for them of selling a ton of these. I think it would help them, but I think it would help them more if they sold it at a profit. And we could discuss that a bit more on your channel as far as what the
Yeah.
pricing will be.
Okay.
But yeah,
Okay, and yeah, I also have Crash Bandicoot will return.
that would
In
be
what
amazing.
what I think it will be an HD remake of the first three games. It will launch this year, I think, something like that. I mean, they've been teasing it for a while now. They really like to torture their fans because every Twitter account and one Twitter account said bring back Crash or something like that. It's yeah. I've also got a video about that, like going in depth all the different the different rumors that's been going on. I mean, yeah, the guy from Sony wearing a Crash shirt. There and also I think the most important one is like in one of the early PlayStation trailers you saw like the Sony Computer Entertainment logo board with an arrow or like a Crash sign with an arrow to Sony Computer Entertainment board.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's like okay, why would they ever do that? I mean, there's thought put into that. So also they are like really close with Activision right now, with Destiny, with Call of Duty. They have made a deal somehow. Also, Spider-Man games are for, probably also with Activision. They have like the license for that. So yeah, they have been talking with them, giving them the license. So yeah, it will be super cool if we finally see Crash, and I think it will happen. So
Yeah, I think it will too. Like you said, they've been teasing it for a while,
yeah,
and I don't know though who I would want to develop it honestly, because I don't trust Activision anymore. So I
no, no,
hope
no.
that they don't have a lot of ties with it, other than obviously owning the IP, at least in some regards. I don't know if Naughty Dog would be up to doing it, but we'll discuss more of this on your channel, of course. And if that's the last bold prediction you have, I
Yeah.
think we're done here. Yeah.
Okay,
All
we've
right.
been yeah, it was a total packed.
Yeah.
Hopefully the show will be packed as well. I mean, Sony has always large press conference for 2 hours, something like that. But last year they really did a great job of yeah giving the fans what they wanted, and I think bringing back Crash is like one of the things they could do to yeah to make like a press conference on the same level as last year. Although it's still Shenmue 3, something like that. Will it ever happen and when will it happen? It's still like a dream that comes true, but it's not touchable yet. So
Yep.
hopefully they will not do a lot of stuff like that and they will actually show like games that we can play in a year or two or earlier. But yeah, I think they will have a great show.
Yeah, I really hope, and I hate to reiterate this, I hope it's not more greatness awaits, but greatness is coming. Like I don't I
Greatness is here.
great yeah, greatness is here. Like we need games, and I for their bottom line, I guess they don't really need games, but
No.
it really comes down to the fact that a lot of people are exclusive starved this generation, at least on the PlayStation platform. If you're on the Xbox One, you really aren't. But I wanted to see some of their exclusives because they're looking and shaping up to be really great.
Yep.
And it really comes down to the fact that I think Sony is going to have another showstopper sort of performance at E3. They've really sort of got they're basically the Xbox 360 of this generation, right? The Xbox 360 was such a phenomenal console for Microsoft last generation, and I think that Sony learned a lot from their PlayStation 3. And as much as PlayStation 3 had a lot of good games, I think that they really learned a lot of the sort of how to execute things,
Yeah.
and we're seeing it, this time around. So
Yeah,
it's gonna be good.
yeah, it's also like the third console syndrome that yeah some people throw around because yeah with PlayStation 3 Sony thought oh everyone bought the PS2 they don't even think about buying the PS3 they will do it immediately even if they sell it for $600 but that's just not the case and that's the
Yep.
same with Microsoft. They thought okay the games we have the gamers already, let's also try and grab your mother and everyone else that's trying to watch TV. Well, that's not how it's going to work. So Yeah.
Yeah, gamers are not as brand loyal as
Hmm.
these executives are finding out. You know, you can't
Yeah.
just fucking sell a product for a shit ton more and expect it to sell. You can't expect it to be an underpowered console trying to sell it for profit and expect it to sell. You just can't do that. You gotta bring them games, and I think Sony is going to have a good performance. But yeah, guys, if you want to check out our bold predictions more in depth, make sure to check out Your Raptor. It'll be linked down below. We'll be doing those, like I said, every single week. I think this time around we might do it a little bit more frequently because we got
Yeah.
a lot of bold predictions that we need to cover. But yeah, a lot of bold predictions to cover, and we'll be covering them on Jordan's channel. But Jordan, thanks for coming along once again. But as always, Zach Sharp signing out until the next video. Check out all the links down below, and as always, I'll catch you guys next time.
Goodbye.